welcome to another episode of Unboxing Women, where we explore the gender gap in the music and entertainment industry. If you're active in the music business, an independent artist, a musician, or are just curious about how it all works, then this pod is for you. My name is Dana Rex, and with me is my friend Micah Rose. We are both independent recording artists based in Europe. After having been called a bitch for knowing what we want, we were fed up and decided to be such a bitch and reveal what really goes on behind the scenes. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform and on our YouTube channel. And today we are chatting with Kristel Goddevriendt, who is an actor, a makeup artist, a voiceover artist, and a model. But I'm sure you do even more things, Kristel.
Me? No, I just do stuff.
So yes, do tell us more about you and all of the things that you do on your very long CV.
Yeah, so that's my creative part. I'm a freelancer, and that's the creative part, all of those things that you mentioned there. I also have an administrative part of it, which is just a project manager, which I've been for all of my life, and it just doesn't go out of my body. It's just burned in there. But as for the rest, yeah, I'm just very creative. I just need to do something to get that creativity out of there. And that started with being a makeup artist. So I just said, I love makeup. I want to do something with it. And I started following courses. And then it just grew. And I started doing makeup just, on people, like in general, weddings, whatever. And now I work for a Belgian brand as well, for which I do workshops during the week. So that's really fun to do. And then there was still a part of me that said, like, I still want to do more with that creativity. And that's how I became all of the rest. So I became an actress, I became a voiceover, which I love doing, by the way. And everything linked to that. When you get into that world, it's like a lot of things open for you. It's like you don't just act, but you're also, what I also do, what I did this morning, for example, is be a reporter. I'm in front of the camera, I'm next to the camera, I'm behind the camera. I just love the combination of it.
Yeah, because we met because you did an interview with me for a magazine in Belgium. So yes, you do a lot of things. So tell me a little bit, how did you roll into all of these different things? Was it like one source or how did that happen?
So the makeup, that just started it. And then I just thought, like, what else can I do? And there's somebody that told me, you know what, I did these extra parts once in a movie and it was really fun to do. And I was like, sounds like fun. I should try it. So I tried it, but then I was like, maybe there's more into this than just doing the extras part. And then I started following courses on acting and just rolled into a couple of things like working with students who are now then in the bigger business already, and you just come across each other each time that you're actually on set. So that's really fun. And out of that came the fact that, I'm quite fluent in speaking. Go figure.
You're very outgoing.
Maybe I can do something more with that. And somebody contacted me and said, like, hey, I'm looking for a reporter. Would that be something for you? Just doing interviews, asking questions. You're already into like musical and theater. We want to do something with that. And I was like, yeah, why not? Sounds like really interesting and something that I could do. So I just jumped into it, and yeah, that just kept on building, and you meet new people.
It's like a Pandora's box and it keeps unfolding.
Yep.
Like I can do this. It's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
And you mentioned musical theater. So is that, which courses did you take? Was it musical theater or did you take other acting classes and did you roll into that?
I did theater classes and acting in front of camera, because my focus was really on, I want to do something with camera more. Theater is nice as well, but it's a lot more text, and I love learning, but that's a lot of learning sometimes. And I think like theater is maybe my thing to look at, but less to do it myself. But then I started, like, after the extras, I was like, there's something I want to do in life. I just want to try it once, and that's be in a musical. And then all of a sudden, there was on this specific platform, there was a call for, we're looking for extras for the first musical in a pop-up theater. There's only one in Belgium, but...
it's huge.
It's huge. And it's still there after all of those years.
There's only one theatre for musical
Pop-up
theatres?
theatre.
Or
Pop-up. Well, they
Okay.
call it pop-up, but it's really
So it's
just a
been there for
building
ages.
that
It's
they
been there
built.
for a
Yeah,
while.
okay, mhm.
Yeah.
It's called Studio 100, and it's right down the road here,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, and I thought, let's just do that. So I just went for the auditions and I was like, let's just see what comes out of it. And it was the first musical they actually did. It was 40-45. So
It was the
war.
big 40-45
Yes,
one.
so the first one. And I was just an extra, but I took on so much information of everything that was happening around me, and that just got my full interest in what people are doing there. So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds really amazing. And so, are you going to pursue musical theatre more? And will you be singing? That's what we want to know.
Well, I always said like, yes, I want to sing in one. But it's a difficult audience in Belgium, meaning that there's so many people who really have done a musical training and schooling. So those people do get like first access usually, which I totally get. So I kind of said like, probably that's not going to happen. I did some courses on voice coaching, a couple of things like that, singing. So I did prepare to like, maybe it's going to come. But then what actually came out of that is I got more into the voiceover part.
Okay. So this is
okay.
all
Yeah,
linked.
because
Yes.
my voice coach actually said like, they're looking for someone. Maybe it's something for you. And I was like, I love doing voices and just like animation, especially because it's so fun to do.
Really?
That's really interesting because I went to a voice coaching, voice artist coaching once. Well, not a coaching, it was a workshop.
Yeah.
And they said in Germany specifically, a lot of the voiceover stuff is done with the same people over and over and over again. So it's a difficult industry to get into. So that was like one in a I don't know how many chances.
Yeah.
So
They were looking for new voices.
Okay,
Because they always
yeah.
had the same people.
Yeah.
They were just looking for new talents, new voices. So I just did like a take on something that they gave me. It was like a self-tape. Just for the voice then, of course, because usually it's with camera. And then I just tried it and I got selected for 2 voices in an animation movie. So
Which
not like the
one?
main
Nice.
role, but like smaller roles, but I liked it.
Which one?
Animation
You can
movie.
drop names. You can drop names here.
One is Rainbow High, and then the other one was LOL Surprise Movie, which is really like
What?
child animation.
Okay, that's why I don't know it.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. So I had to look it up because I wasn't aware what it was.
No, but
it's
I
like,
mean, you can't because you have to do voiceover for so many things.
Yeah,
You're not going to know
exactly.
everything.
yeah.
And is
exactly.
this like Nickelodeon or is this on Flemish channels?
No, it came from America. So and
Yeah.
it's now on Netflix, but then Netflix with like the Flemish voices.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
can here in Belgium
Yep.
choose that. So we should, tonight see if we can hear Kristel's voice.
My own mother didn't even recognize me.
Really? Oh, come on.
No, but it's really like small pieces in it because you have
Yeah.
like main characters and then you have some coming in, dropping out. So I was 2 like those ones coming in and out. And I just showed the episode to my mom and she was like, nope, didn't hear you.
That's not you.
So then I had to play it back and she was, is that you? Yeah, that's me.
And how does that work? Do they because we see big actors doing like the thing for like Toy Story and you see them in the studio seeing their part. Is that the way it works for you as well?
No, that's how it works for bigger roles, of course. And when you're actually like those big movies that come into the movie theaters, for this, because it's online, you also do everything online.
Oh.
But you have like the movie playing. And you're seeing the characters and you just do
you
their
are?
voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't lip sync otherwise.
No, it's
you
very
need to
tricky.
get it synced up.
So they
Yeah.
give you the text, the
Yeah.
translated text, and
Yeah.
then you just have the cue and like, well, that's where I start.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a whole program thing. So everything's
okay.
in there and you just have to follow the steps and then you know when your cue is because your character comes up. So it's really easy. But then you have to follow a bit of the parts before so you know what's happening and you can just go
You
into your
practice a
role.
little bit. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this now?
I started during COVID because acting was just down. There was nothing.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. So I thought, what should I do? Well, let's just focus a bit more on things that people can do at home And then the voice part came in there, so voiceover. So I just started doing additional coaching, very much focused on like the Flemish parts of it. And yeah, I just auditioned and got in connection with people, and yeah, that's how I got there.
Wow. That's
So
really
not that
amazing.
long. It's like what is it now? 3 years now?
Yeah, but still, people networking, as we've been saying
yeah.
throughout all our seasons.
Yeah.
Networking is so important because it
Absolutely.
opens doors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really wow. That's
And
really
I can really confirm that. Even in the acting part, just going out there, people seeing you, just talking to them, it just helps, because otherwise, well, they're not going to come to you and say like, hey, I want you for my next part. They're not going to do that.
yeah,
They need to know you.
yeah. They need to know
Yeah.
that you're also interested in doing
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And capable. Yeah.
That too, yeah.
Wow. Yes. I wanted to know how you keep your focus though, because with all these different things going on, and now that COVID is over, and you know we're out. How do you structure this?
I'm a project manager.
Yes, right. That was a silly question. Sorry.
That's where that part comes in so handy, because that just helps me. Otherwise, I think I wouldn't survive. People sometimes ask me like, how much do you do on a day? And I'm like, well, you should really see my agenda. It's like full.
Yeah.
But I even calculate like travel time in my calendar.
Yeah.
So I know it's really planned in detail.
Sounds like mine.
Yeah, similar to mine.
Yeah.
When I'm doing well.
When you do my pitfall is that I always put in too much,
Yeah, same.
and then that I have to move stuff because stuff takes too long. But yeah.
Yeah.
I just know which parts are just going to run over time, or which ones are going to be like really strict. It kind of worked so far.
So far. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
With the reporter part, I was looking at your CV and your multiple pages online, and there was something called Vox Pop on it. What does that mean?
Vox Pop is actually how they call it. You go out on the street and just put a microphone in front of people.
Oh,
It's Vox Popping.
okay.
It's just asking them questions.
Oh, I didn't know that was called that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it could be like on a party. I even did it on like cultural events or just political events, and you just go out there and you ask people a couple of questions,
Yeah.
and that's what happens. That's Vox Popping.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot
What's
of
in a
work.
name,
Like
right?
that. Why is it called that?
I have
though? It
no
doesn't
idea.
Make any sense.
Don't know.
What would you call it?
I don't know, like randomly interviewing people.
Same thing.
That's not as
It's not
snappy,
sure.
like.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, they were just looking for something that people don't know what it is, but it just sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shockterview.
Oh, I
good
like
one.
that one.
That's a good one.
I like that one too. And you were mentioning dialects as well. So you're working a lot on dialects in Flemish.
Yeah.
And I saw you did like neutral Flemish and Leuven's accent.
Yes. My parents are actually from that region.
Yeah, okay.
So I've lived there for, a lot of years when I was young. And they had the accent. So with my parents, I just can't speak like Flemish. It's always a dialect, always.
I think a lot of us have that.
Yeah, the problem
that
is
too.
if you ask me to do it now, I would be like, I have to think about it. Because with them, it comes out naturally. So I had to do a voiceover once. It was like a medical program. And that person wanted to stay anonymous, but it was a dialect. So they were looking for people in that dialect. So I went out there and the director was in front of me. The microphone was in front of me. And you have to switch it on immediately. So I was like, I had to prepare myself before
Wow.
because you just, that switch, it's sometimes difficult if you're not
Yeah.
used to it.
That's true, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pressure.
Yeah.
And the problem is, my partner is from Antwerp region.
Ah, that
So I'm
doesn't
kind
help.
of getting that mix at the moment.
That doesn't help, does it?
No.
Because it's very overpowering.
I said, I'm never going to be talking Antwerps. And he was like, yeah, you are. You're already doing that. Oh,
Can you put it into perspective for people who don't know Belgian accents?
Oh, yes.
Is it like maybe let's just do American accents. So is there any way you can put it into perspective? Like if you say Antwerp and Leuven and them like not mixing at all?
You can hear it, right?
You can hear it very well. It's a little bit like, well, if you have a dubbed, if you're doing an animation movie, usually the villain is from Antwerp.
So he's the German one in American movies.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's it's because so basically, even when they mix the Dutch accents, when there are people from the Netherlands, they do like the lead roles, and then the villain is from Antwerp.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
I always have to be very careful because I know a lot of people in Antwerp, so I'm not going into how do you recognize somebody that speaks that way.
Exactly. Well, I am also from Antwerp, so yes, you can hear it. I don't know. We could speak a little bit of Flemish, and you could do your Leuven's accent, and I could do my Antwerp accent. I don't know what to say though. Ik zou niet weten wat ik moet zeggen, maar ja.
See, and then when you say that, I'm already thinking in that. Maar op z'n Leuvens klinkt dat eigenlijk hetzelfde.
Yes, I know.
Sounds
eigenlijk wel, maar
softer.
toch niet helemaal, hè?
Nee.
Nee, toch niet helemaal. But it's not that far away from each other, Antwerp and Leuven. It's, it would be more striking if it were like Bruges. Oh, Bruges. If we manage to go to Bruges, we're trying to go to Bruges on Friday.
Nice city.
Then you'll hear Bruges, and it's completely different.
Yep.
And,
They swallow.
Yes.
I don't know. They just leave pieces of a word out, and sometimes like, what?
Sometimes
Did you
they get.
finish your sentence?
Sometimes it gets so bad that when they interview somebody on the news or something in like this deep Flemish accent from somewhere, they actually subtitle it. Because some people might not understand. Because
we have that with some things, yeah.
You have that in Germany
yeah,
too,
we
right?
have that in something. We have on trash TV. Some people
Trash TV.
Yes, I watch trash TV.
Sounds interesting.
On trash TV, there's sometimes people that just don't talk properly. And you literally cannot understand. So they subtitle them after a couple of episodes because they're like, wait, what did that guy say? and and it's very funny because it's like, but also, I mean, we also have dialects. So we also, obviously, in Bavaria, you have the Bavarian dialect, which is it's its own language as well. You obviously have the accent, which is already strong enough, but then you actually have a dialect as well. And then you have different dialects for different parts. And in northern Germany, we also have a different language, a dialect, which is called Plattdeutsch. And it's actually very similar to, there's different types of Plattdeutsch, but I think it's, if I spoke Platt, you'd probably understand me even better than when I speak German.
Yes. Yeah, we understand each other very well.
Yeah.
Because in Hamburg, they also have the zachte G.
Yeah. Not all the time, just at the end.
Yeah.
So,
But already that, for me, that's like, it sounds more Flemish.
Yeah. Some of the words are different, but it does have similarities.
Yeah. So interesting stuff.
We just learned that there's something like trash TV.
Yes, they should do shocker views on that. What's the name?
Shocker views.
Shocker views.
Wait, you don't watch trash TV?
No. What is trash TV?
What? Like Love Island
bloody
and Temptation Island. And,
I don't have time to watch TV.
And, oh my
She doesn't either. You don't have time to watch TV.
I was just in a discussion like that.
I watch reviews from YouTubers. So YouTubers they don't technically shorten the episode because they talk so much that it's the same length as the actual episode. But it's more entertaining because like you if you like the YouTuber, it's like really nice because you kind of you agree with a lot of things they're saying, and then they add like funny bits, or they like have loads of like memes that they have from previous episodes that they've reviewed, and then it's like you just get like these random memes back in where you're like, you know exactly where it's from, but it's just hilarious ripped out of context.
Exactly.
So yeah, oh my god, you don't watch trash TV.
No time, Michael.
No time. Seriously.
But this is something you put on while, I don't know, you're cooking, or you don't actively watch it.
Well, the cooking also is like in between, at least for me.
Exactly.
But it's a discussion I had this morning with someone as well. They said like, yeah, but you know this guy from that series, and I was like, I know it usually professionally because I need to know when I do my research, but
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it yet.
I
So.
have the same thing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, and also for like artists, Belgian artists, and they're like, Oscar and the Wolf, and I know the name and I know about this person, but I don't know the songs. And then they're like, how can you not know this? I'm like, I don't have time for this stuff. I don't have time. It's just
Yep.
So.
Completely
But I do
understand.
that with Netflix, what you're describing, but not while cooking. While cooking, I do sing sometimes because my kitchen has the most amazing reverb. It's really good. And so that I do, but I mostly do like an aperitif with my boyfriend. So we're like just talking.
Yeah.
And that's basically where we see each other. Because he's across the hall from us. And so when do we catch up about how our day was and what the planning is like the next day and everything?
Yeah, I mean,
That's during the cooking.
Yeah.
So that afterwards we can just pop on Netflix. He does some stuff. I'm on my computer.
Yeah.
You are also?
We're sitting next to each other.
Yes!
So we have since we moved, we just have two desks.
same
He has his
people.
desk, I have my desk. I'm working there, and when we do a project together, it's like, hey, can you have a look? And then it's so easy. It was one of the preconditions to find a house. A desk next to each other. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. We do so many
I had
projects
to move
together.
out because he was on the phone. He was doing conf calls all the time.
Yeah.
So then I can't listen to music. So we did have to split because of the music stuff.
Well, he's out working during the day, so it's just in the evenings, and at least we
okay.
see each other. Otherwise, with my
I know,
schedule,
right?
we'd be like just 5 minutes, hi, bye. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like we have the same life.
Yeah.
That's very good. She actually lives not very far from here. Yeah. And so her boyfriend, is it? Or is it husband?
No, boyfriend.
He also is her cameraman.
And photographer. So.
And photographer.
Yeah,
See?
so many parallels.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's even a bit more because I'm using him to do self-tapes.
He does a lot. Oh, really? Oh, there you go.
He's always behind the camera, and then sometimes I ask him. So I think a couple of weeks ago, I had to do like a self-tape as a cop. So I needed to cuff somebody, and I was like, well, I'm gonna cuff you. And he's like, I need to be on camera. I hate being on camera. Just put me behind the camera. So he was really like head down, but he just did it because he wants to support me, which is so nice.
So nice. That's so nice. Yeah. Okay, the self-tapes.
Yes.
I've seen those, yeah. That's
What
intense.
do you mean with self-tapes? Is it like you have to do it on your own, or...?
Yeah, so it means actually you're doing a casting at home. So you're just taping. You get like a script, and they just want you to do that yourself. You just tape it, you send it to them, instead of going there and doing the actual casting.
Yeah.
So this week I did both. I did a self-tape, and I did a casting at their location.
Yeah, recorded audition kind of thing.
Yeah, no, a friend of mine's an actress, and in Germany it's called e-casting. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But then you send it, you don't get the feedback
Yeah.
at that moment. When you do a casting with them, you get straight away the feedback, or they just tell you, I just want to see something else, just do it in that style a little bit, which is easy, of course, but those self-tapes are
Take time.
time consuming, but also winning time because you don't have to travel over there, which is sometimes mid-Brussels and traffic jams, so both have advantages.
Yeah, true. I also saw that you do some styles of dance and yoga and martial arts.
Fencing, wasn't it fencing?
No, martial arts kind of.
Did that.
Gevechtsport is.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it not fencing? I thought it was
No,
fencing.
no.
thought
I did
it
a
was
course on
fencing.
fencing, but that was
Oh, you
one day,
saw
so
it,
I'm not an expert at all. But I like trying different things. So what I actually did is, when you're on television, I either get cast for like the nice mom or like the bad cop, you know? I have that face that I can be both. Yeah, I can be bitchy, so then I'm the cop, or I can be like the really nice mom.
I've seen you as a mom because I watched your reel, which well, if we can, we'll put it in our show notes if that's okay with you. And then there was this thing about an insurance, I think it was, and then you're like, oh, happy, and there was like the windows were broken and the house is basically falling apart, and she's like, oh, happy, and like the mom, come in with the kid. It was hilarious. It was really good.
Yeah, it was for the Flemish government actually, so that was really nice to do.
It's like the people going, oh, it doesn't matter because it's all taken care of.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm usually casted for. So one of those. It's typecasting, they call it. And yeah.
Yes, but what is it about you that makes it that? Is it the color of your hair?
I don't know.
Is it, you know?
I have the two different looks. As I said, I can be really nice because you don't want to know how many kids I've had already. That many, and at the end of the day, I always give them back.
That's handy though.
So I'm good with kids, and they always like, yeah, I like you as my mom, and it's fun for them.
Yeah.
But then also I can be really serious, and I can just have that face on, don't mess with me, and I think that's what makes it, yeah.
I could see that being like a CEO though, like you could
As
do
well.
a CEO and not
As
just
well.
Yeah,
a
you could
bad
be
cop, like
CEO.
or not bad cop, but like mean.
CEO.
Yeah, CEO. Entrepreneur. She's
Well, I
already got
did
the
that.
project managing down.
I did that in my last commercial though, where it was for like a meeting room location partly, where it was also like I was the businesswoman and meeting up with my team. So kind of
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the times those two roles, but it's been a mixture, of course, of things. I've been a werewolf. I've been, what else? I've been a lot of things.
And what about the casting in when you're doing the extras or really in, aside from ads, how are you cast then? Because we've had a lot of discussions about typecasting, and we've also had an opera singer on the show, where because an opera is basically a theater piece, so they are also very much typecast, and so the blonde girl gets the lead role, and then the darker haired girl gets, you know, is like the sidekick or things like that. How does that work with you, or how have you experienced this?
It kind of depends. These days, the focus is a lot on diversity. So they're just looking for a nice mix of people. So I think that they just need to like you to fit into the profile. I don't think there's a specific type that you can say like, I'm definitely going to be the one that they're going to select for this. I think it's always a comparison with what they get. And if there's a couple of profiles that are quite similar, then they're maybe going to choose you or maybe the other one. But if you pop out, then maybe it's different for them. I think it's very difficult in those castings. I've been on the other side doing castings. I know how difficult it is. If you have that many people and they all have something similar, then choose the right person. That's tricky.
Yeah. Are you comfortable talking about Joan of Arc,
Yeah.
the theater piece that's coming up in Belgium?
Yeah.
Because I saw that you posted a picture of the person that's cast now as Joan of Arc, and I don't know if you saw my comment.
Yeah.
Because she's gonna have to ride horses.
Yeah.
I don't know how much
A lot of
she's
people
gonna
there.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she clearly cannot ride, and I saw it immediately in just the one picture. So so I'm, you know, it's like the thing. We've also had transgender people on in musical theater. If you have a transgender role, then cast somebody who actually is transgender, because they're going to be able to do the role better. There are so many people who can act and can ride and can sing. Why wouldn't they actually choose somebody who can ride already?
I think they did that for the rest of the cast.
Okay.
So there's a big cast for this specific one. And most of the people that are in there that I know for now can also ride horse. So I think what they did is they really made a strong selection on we need someone maybe that's not too tall, because Joan of Arc wasn't really a tall person. We need somebody with a very, very strong voice. And they did a couple of auditions. And you could say she's a bit more famous. Maybe they took her. But it's really, they went through this specific process with like, because the producer, the director actually is her father. So you could think it was casted that way. But we did get a look into the process. And that's not the case.
Okay.
So she was purely selected on the voice. And what I know is that they really put a focus on, well, we do want people that ride horse because it's easier. But if for that lead part, some part is missing on what they're requiring, then they'll just make sure that it happens.
Yeah,
And
then
it's
the
not
voice
just
is
there.
the-
It's not just with the musical. It's with movie as well. You could have like you're looking for a bold person, well, they're just going to cut hair, you know? It's one of the requirements. I can almost never dye my hair because they always say, well, we don't want you to change your looks until we know you're casted or not.
Yeah.
But you have that for each one of them, meaning that in between you can never change your look. So that's quite tricky.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is, and you have to sign agreements even on that. So I think it's not that you need to be a person to be able to play a person. Now, horse riding, of course, is something specific.
Yeah.
But I would be the first to say if they would select me and I can sing well, sure, I'll learn how to do that.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that's just the way of business in that world.
Okay, but I think she's underestimating the learning how to ride a horse.
I don't doubt that.
Because it's not like, okay, let me just do this for a couple of weeks, you know.
I've always wanted to do it, but I've never started it.
So she's in for a ride. Literally. Yes.
I think she knows that very well. Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I actually, want to get tickets and go.
There's a lot of good
Go
ones
see.
coming up, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, there's so many things happening these days.
Yeah, I saw Greece as well. Is going to be
There's
a
a lot of
Belgian,
stuff.
a Flemish version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I thought
quite
you meant
busy
Grease
for
the
me.
country, but you meant Grease the
Grease
musical.
the musical.
I was like, wait,
Yes.
what?
Musical.
There's a
yeah.
lot of press conferences happening as well, so I'm just running in between all of those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. So yes, the dancing and the fighting and the yoga that you do, have you ever actually been cast?
So the
to do
dancing,
those?
I just did that because I love dancing. I stopped all of it because you didn't have time enough to do it anymore. And the problem with these dancing courses usually is that they're on a fixed day in the week.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to skip like 2 a month already. And it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
But I did ballroom dancing because I just wanted to try it. And then I just continued for a couple of years because I just loved it.
Nice.
And that just rolled into other dancing styles as well. And then the fighting, it's actually stunt fighting that I did.
Ah.
So not the real fight, but the reason why I did that is because I'm a curious person. And I was as an extra in like a group of 200 people or something for a movie that was done here in Belgium with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And well, he's like the martial art guy and all of the fighting. And when we were waiting, when the camera was on him, I was just looking like, how does that fight scene happen?
Yeah.
I was so interested in, so how do they do it? Because it's stunts and there's a stunt coordinator. And I just started talking to him afterwards. And it's like, hey, that was really interesting. People were interested in Jean-Claude. I was interested in the stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
So, and he just said, you know what? I don't have anything to do tonight. Maybe let's go for a drink or something. I was like, yeah, I want to know more about this stuff.
Wow.
And then I just got into contact with some people locally here. And the stunt fighting was also about how do you react when you get shot? Because if you're in a series or a movie and you get shot, you often see reactions that they think like,
You have to fall down.
or they get shot here and they do this. No, you have to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very typical things. And I just wanted to know, or how to hold a gun. Because it's like, you're a cop, you need to put handcuffs, you need to hold a gun. And I'm like, but you need to do it right, you know? So that's why I wanted to do all of that stuff.
And there are courses for this?
Yeah.
Cool. I want to go. Let's do one.
I have to say, at that time, when I was looking for one, there wasn't one. But I was working together with a coach, actually, a training coach, personal trainer, who then said, but I can set something up for you. So I took a couple of friends and we just did that specific course with him because that was just
And
so
now
fun.
he has an ongoing course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Kristel. That's really good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the guns, that was so interesting as well. My partner had been really shooting at a range for a couple of years already. So I'm doing that as well now since like a couple of years.
With your voice acting, right? How do you do the voices? Is it like a specific vocal technique? Did you train for that, or do you just do them naturally? Because
It's kind of, when you start singing, you also warm up your voice, right? So that's something you do as well when you do voice acting. The key thing is you're acting. It's voice acting, but you're just acting. So what I do is I get into character. Like you say, you see these people doing this and in front of the mic. I do that as well. Even if it's at home, you just want to be that character. As for voice, it kind of depends what is needed. Sometimes you can just use your own voice, but with a little twist in it, so you don't recognize it. But sometimes it can be like this really, really awkward person.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
So you just have to look a bit for what it needs, what that person needs. I once had to be like a very soft person, and you get an example in this case from the English voice. You know what they're doing, but the English is always it's different. A lot of them are high pitched, and you need to change it a little bit. So that's what you do. You look at the example, you go into it. There's a couple of techniques, but mostly it's let your acting part take over. Do what you feel. And the voice, it's a lot of warming up and making sure that, you drink a lot and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it's an animation movie and you're doing a voiceover in Flemish for something that was originally English, you have the example and you kind of, okay. And so sometimes it is different. So they have a lot of high-pitched voices, you say, and then for the Flemish ones, it's a little bit...
You're always a bit different because most of them, even if you look at Rainbow High, for example, there's a lot of the same pitches. You just hear that there's a different person, but the pitches are quite similar sometimes. And then you just need to find the right tone of voice. But it's always with a director that is going to look at it and then say, I want a bit more of this or a bit more of that. Okay. But you make the first call in, okay, so how am I going to do this? How am I going to put this in that timing and with that Flemish part? Because in English it could be this, and in Flemish it becomes that.
Yeah.
But you still need to fit it into that couple of seconds that you have.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes challenging.
Yeah.
Who does the writing for that?
That's usually just
get it.
Yeah, we get it. We don't need to do anything with it.
And can you make adjustments if you're like, okay, this is too long for when the character is being...
I had to do it once because there was one part where immediately there was like this cowgirl, and I had to do a really small part in singing a couple of sentences, and I was like, I can't fit that in. It just doesn't match in what they're singing. Yeah. So I did pass that on and put it into the comments, like I changed that a little bit. But then they saw as well, okay, that's probably a better fit.
Yeah. Okay, so they do accept it.
Yeah.
When you change your voice, and have you ever hurt it? Like, do you, after a day's work, go like, oh my God, I did something wrong?
No, you just need to make sure that you really prep. You don't go in cold and just do your thing. I always warm up with the Vox. So that's usually quite good to do. And then afterwards, it's just drinking a lot of water as well. Yeah. So, yeah. And take breaks in between. I just don't do everything after each other. That's too much.
And so for people who would like to get into this stuff, how should they go about it? Do you have any tips?
Just go for it. I don't have the golden key to it because for me as well, it was like, so how do I start doing this? And I think it's just for yourself to just do things, get recordings, make sure you get those out there, send them to people. It's just finding your way a bit. So there's no like structured layout on this is what you can do to become a voiceover. There's a couple of things, of course, if you know people that you can talk to them and say like, hey, I want to become this voiceover. What should I be doing? But I think the first thing that is, just go to a coach who can help you as well with training your voice, which is really important. Because people always told me like, hey, you have a voice for commercials. Why are you not doing that? I'm like, I am doing that, but well, you should be doing more. I'm like, okay, but how? What? And I have to say COVID was a bit, a good thing in that way that I had time to invest for myself and just figure out what I wanted to do with that.
I feel like it was like that for a lot of people. Like, obviously it was a huge impact into everybody's lives because you, like, especially people who are acting or in music, we couldn't do what we were doing before. So it just kind of, it opened up new avenues in a way because we had to start and do something else. So yeah, I feel like that's been a big impact on a lot of people we've had on the show as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm always very honest about that. It's a fight every day. There's so many people that want to do this, that are trying to get into the business. I'm not at the top at all, and I don't position myself there either. I'm happy with every opportunity that I get, and I grab those. But it's hard work. It's not like they come to you and it's presented to you. You just need to do a lot of stuff, need to be in contact with a lot of people. So
Yeah.
Networking.
again, yep.
Yes. And what about the pay for voiceover?
Oh, that's different.
Yeah,
So-
because you're saying that people, a lot of people are, knocking at the door. Is it like with musicians where some people go and do a gig for free and then all of the rest has to ask less money next time,
I think that's in every business. Makeup as well. You have these
Yeah.
makeup artists that are just doing something for 15 euros and then you think like, why? It's killing the business.
Yeah.
Same for everything, acting, voiceovers. But I think for me, I started doing a couple of things for free because you think like, I'm not experienced, I just want to try things. I want to see how it goes. But then at a certain moment, you have to tell yourself, no, it's not for free anymore. I have experience. I know what I'm doing. So it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So it's just going through that phase, I think, especially like me when you're for a part self-taught, but also you got some experts in. But I didn't start that way. When I was studying, I studied management assistant because that was a good way to go every direction that you can imagine, was what my parents said. But I didn't know anything about, maybe I want to become something in the creative world, So then you just have to start from zero and go to full-time classes over day, having a house, having to pay bills. That's not possible. So then you just have to fight more.
Have you ever been called a bitch?
Yeah, or maybe not to my face, but yeah.
You're clearly a strong woman who knows what she wants, who is doing all the things and getting somewhere in life. So
Yeah.
yes, tell us about that experience.
Well, it's actually funny. One of my best friends used to find me a bitch.
Oh, nice.
When we got to know each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, we actually got to know each other at a musical. So yeah, and he saw me, and we had to be partners in that part, and he was like, I really can't stand her. She's
Oh
like,
my God.
she's got this bitchy look, and really, and he did tell me that like after a couple of months, not straight away.
Yeah.
So, but you can see that sometimes it can switch. That people think you maybe look like a bitch, but you're not a bitch at all. I mean, I have my soft side too. So
I mean, like, at the end of the day, that's presentation, right? It's like, you're just like, you know your shit, and you're doing what you...
I know what I want, and that's the thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always people that are, I wouldn't say jealous, but they just think like, when I started in doing these kind of things, they were like, what are you doing? You're never gonna be something or do something in Belgium like that. And those are the people that are now, you're in that musical, I'm gonna come and watch you. And like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
that bitchy part, if you want to get somewhere, yeah, for sure. You have to be strong and say, sure, I can be a bitch, but not always.
Yeah. No, but it's mostly because people are strong in doing what they want. And like you say, jealousy is a big part. There's a lot of people saying, oh, but you can't do that. Oh, but that won't work for you. Oh, this, and then you just have to prove them wrong.
That's a motivation to just do
Are
it.
you sure
Absolutely.
you'll be able to? Like, are you sure?
Are you
Like, it's
sure?
like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I
Fuck
don't
it.
really see that being something for you. Well, I don't really care what you think.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So strange.
Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you and look at all your stuff?
Socials. All the socials. I'm
the
on
socials.
Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm everywhere you can find.
Cool.
What do you do on YouTube?
I have my channel mostly for the acting part, because you need to have reels, you need to have examples. So everything I've done is mostly on there.
Right.
Except for, you have some parts that you can't show to the outside world because it's corporate movies or something.
Yeah.
And then I have my separate channel, which is Spotlight News, which is my reporting on cultural theater, musical. So, yeah.
Nice.
We'll put those in the show notes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll put those in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on that note, I think that is all for today. Thank you for tuning into Unboxing Women. If you've ever had an experience that you want to share with us, send us a DM or tag us in your post with the hashtag #suchabitch, or send us an email on suchabitch@unboxingwomen.com. Don't forget to drop us a like on Instagram or wherever you're listening to us. And today's guest has been Kristel, wait, I can do this. Today's guest has been Kristel Goddevriendt.
Yay!
And thank you so much for being on. It was really nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Micah Rose, and I've been chatting with Donna Rex and Kristel. Tune in to another episode of Unboxing Women next week. See you then.
See you then.
Bye.